Alright, welcome back everybody. This is pretty much the last video that I have in the series. Unfortunately, I wasn't into recording videos at this point in time. And again, these videos are over a year old. But in this final one, I'm going to be installing the generator. It's not very difficult. It's more of strictly a mechanical thing than anything else. I've already rebuilt the generator completely. And what you just saw was me removing the two bolts from this mounting bracket here. And here in just a second, I'm going to be bringing over the attachment bracket for it and getting that bolted in. You may also notice that on the fuel pump, I've turned the cap around, the top of it, so that the suction and discharge lines are on the opposite side. So here's the bracket coming in, and it bolts up with the two bolts to the side of the block there. And then if you can kind of tell where the bracket goes, right flush up against the forward engine plate and through the hole near the timing chain cover, that gets a portion of the bracket hardware. It's actually pretty complicated attachment hardware for what you would think, given just a simple generator attachment, but it provides for adjustment and everything for the belt, the fan belt for tensioning. Now this is something where you definitely want to refer to your workshop manual and everything. You can see I'm removing the bracket and turning it around. There's a lot of hardware in here that goes in a certain way, washers and nylock nuts and brackets and everything. So definitely something that you want to have a reference for before you just kind of try to go into this, or God forbid, like unlike I did, you take some pictures before you take stuff apart and try to remember it. So I've shifted the camera angle here. You can see the bracket a little better, bringing the generator in, and it's a pretty tight fit between the generator brackets on the front and the back of the generator and the bracket itself. I had obviously taken the bracket off at some point and painted it up and all that kind of stuff, and made sure it was structurally sound. So here I'm kind of struggling with getting it to fit, and essentially what it comes down to is that forward spacer nut that's really really long. You got to get that essentially tightened up most of the way, and then eventually here I'm gonna bang on the back of the bracket a little bit to kind of shrink it in a little bit, just to so the generator fits flush. But I've got the setup right here. Alright, so now that I've got the bracket adjusted, really it's just a matter of getting the generator bolted in. So I put the front bolt on first here. That screws directly into that long spacer bracket there. And then I've got some tension on it now, so I just kind of leave it set there. I'll put the rear in. Now there's been several different designs of generators over the years. I had three or four different ones, I think, when I purchased the car that I got. Some the brackets are threaded on the generator. Some of the brackets are threaded on the bracket itself, and you need to use a nut and a bolt. So you just have to kind of pay attention to the way your particular one is set up, and just realize that they're all a little bit different. So I got the front nut or the front bolt screwed into the front bracket, and in the rear nut and bolt combination here. Just kind of tighten it up, put a little bit of tension on it so that it will set here as I get ready to put the fan belt on. All right, coming over, lifting the generator up, getting the fan belt threaded around the water pump and the generator itself here. Put some tension on that thing. All right, so I'll come in with the generator adjustment bracket here, and that screws in with that top bolt of the water pump. And if you were watching my last video, I had confused these water pump housing bolt lengths a little bit, so your slightly longer one needs to go up here just to take into account for that bracket thickness. And tightening up the water pumps here. I think this is the point where I figured out that I had them backwards, so that's why you see me tightening the bottom bracket here. So I'll tighten the top and the bottom. Then I'll bring in the nut that tightens down the generator itself. I'm putting it in the wrong way here. I'll figure it out in just a second. Now this is one where you have, or at least for this particular generator, the front bracket on the generator itself, it's made out of aluminum that was threaded. I had one or two of the spare generators that I got that these threaded areas were stripped out, so that's something to look out for. But this bolt will thread through into the generator itself, and then according to the drawings, the Triumph drawings, you'd also have a nut there as well once you get it tight. So though I won't show it in the video, I get that tightened down and get the proper belt tension on it, and then I do finally put the nut on the front of it just to kind of lock it in there. My guess is that the vibration won't loosen the nut for one, and two, won't damage the threads in the soft aluminum housing of the generator itself. And that's really about it. Just going around and tightening everything up. Thanks so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. Again, I apologize that I didn't bring these engine rebuild videos to the level that I'm currently doing videos at, but like I said, this was pushing 2 years ago, so there you go. So thanks again, and have a good night. Cheers.